Hello, everyone. Welcome to Behind the Mic. I'm Gary Laubach. He is Mike Joseph, and we're getting ready for the second Patriot League game of the season as Lafayette right now currently sitting in first place. That's right. I said Lafayette is currently sitting in first place after a great win at Holy Cross. But this time we take on another team that is a little bit even more multi-dimensional, and that, of course, is the Fordham Rams. They come in, however, 1-4. They're struggling defensively under their second-year head coach, Andrew Briner. And, Mike, this one doesn't take brain surgery. You've got a terrific offense in Fordham against what certainly last week was a terrific defense, Lafayette. You've got probably a mediocre defense, Fordham, and that may be putting it mildly, against what appears to be a rather mediocre Lafayette offense. So it's strength versus strength, not strength versus not strength, to put it nicely. Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts right away are I finished my cigar, number one. So
he did not light up in the booth, by the way. I got questioned. Did Mike really light up in the – he did not.
Not on campus. But, yeah, strength versus strength and some sort of a weakness versus weakness. But I have a feeling that Lafayette offense is coming around a little bit. So when you talk about their offense versus the Fordham defense, the Fordham defense is missing some players, and they have really struggled to stop people on the ground and stop people through the air. Lafayette has a running game that looks like it's about to break out, and at the same time they throw the ball pretty well. I think Sean O'Malley's going to have to do some things and make some changes on his end as to not make as many mistakes. You very seldom can you lose the turnover battle and win the football game, and Lafayette did that last week. So on that side of the ball. Defensively, we're going to find out if this was an aberration for the Lafayette defense. We're going to find out, are they who they are? Or, coaches always say you're as good as your last game. Well, they were so good last week against, I thought, the best quarterback in really in FCS. I mean, he's a terrific player. They confused him. They took away his first option, and they really just put the lockdown on Holy Cross.
They are a team that's giving up 47 points a game, and in fact, in their only win over Central Connecticut State, they gave up 31 points in that ball game. But when you look at this offense, it is downright scary. Kevin Anderson, before he gets out of Fordham, will probably have almost every passing record at Fordham University, and Chase Edmonds already owns just about every possible rushing record you can imagine. And if you're not scared by that, look at his numbers last year against Lafayette. 17 carries, 359 yards, and 4 touchdowns. The focus is obviously on both of those guys.
Yeah, and I think Lafayette did a great job last week stopping the run when they needed to. They gave up a few yards here or there, but they're going to have to put the lockdown with their front seven. Trust their front seven to slow down and stop. I don't think you can stop Chase Edmonds, but if you can hold him out of the end zone maybe, and you can hold him to 150, something like that. Now, he hasn't been healthy all year long. That ankle's really been a problem for him. He's only played a limited number of games, but he's your first focus. As any defensive coordinator will tell you, you got to stop the run, but the secondary of Lafayette was fantastic, and then you add in those defensive linemen, and I'm talking about some newer guys, Keith Earl, Ryan Barnett, those guys that are actually getting to the quarterback, and then you allow a guy like Demetrius Breedlove and Rothrock, and Jadis. These guys were phenomenal, and they did it from some different positions. They did it from a 3-man front, a 4-man front. So some changes by Luke Thompson, and knowing the Patriot League for Luke, I think, is a little bit of an advantage.
No doubt how great the Lafayette defense was last week. Throughout the game, we mentioned Macbeth is probably considered the best linebacker in the league. I have changed my mind. The best linebacker in the league right now is Brandon Bryant. 15 tackles last week, and a lot of help from his friends. The defense looked terrific.
Yeah, they were fantastic. Brandon Bryant was all over the field. Some of the plays he made, it just looked like he was the old Brandon Bryant. I mean, the last 2 games for him have been phenomenal. The linebackers filled where they were supposed to. They were active. They knew where they were going. They weren't playing a lot in space. They were taking routes to the football and really putting pressure on. I think they blitzed to probably more in that game than they did the entire season. So he's fantastic. Everybody kind of feeds off of Brandon. But the secondary was good. Philip Parham. Can you say anything more about Philip Parham? He was phenomenal. So that defense has got their hands full with Chase Edmonds, the best back in FCS. He's going to play at the next level. He's phenomenal. And you mentioned Kevin Anderson. You cannot allow a guy like Kevin Anderson who will throw an interception and come right back and throw a touchdown. I mean, he's like a corner that just forgets. He's a guy that he's an older kid. He's not getting the same protection up front offensive line-wise, but he is a guy. Those 2 guys, if you can lock them down and do what they did last week, Lafayette's got a great chance.
Sounds like a very interesting football game on Saturday afternoon at 3:30. If you cannot be at Fisher Stadium, then certainly tune in on RCN Television, the Patriot League Network, or WBPH Channel 60. All of them are part of the Lafayette Sports Network. We've been Behind the Mic. Thanks for joining us.